Thanks for tuning into our podcast. We love having you here, and it's our mission to bring you all the latest and greatest tips, skills, and know-how to make you the best that you can be. We know that you have it in you, and we're going to show you how. Now, let's get started.
All right, guys, what's going on? Welcome to tbyn, the best you nation. This is Adler and Finn. How are you guys doing today? Hopefully you're doing well. So, Adler, what's up, man? How you doing?
Man, I'm chilling, man. I'm really excited. Like, I love the transition. I think, like, you know, we're in that space of growth. We talked about this off air, but we're in that space of growth where we're improving and we're becoming better versions of ourselves, and we're growing. And in the same way how, you know, I'm sure you guys have noticed, you know, we have a slightly different name. We're still the Best You, but we're the Best You Nation. Because it's not just one person, the Best You Nation, as in a group of people. We're trying to start a movement here in the United States and advancing it throughout the whole entire world.
Well, I don't mean to cut you off there, Adler, but we already are global, which is kind of why we're taking this whole the best you, integrating it within our people that are like our fan base. But we don't really like to call the word fan because they're not really fans; they're a family, and we have integrated that mindset where, you know, we're so focused on developing and helping people manage their drive. So, I didn't mean to interject there, buddy, but I just wanted to shout that out. You know, this is what we're doing. I mean, listen, Adler, I got a question for you, man. So, you know, we have multiple platforms that we utilize for our podcast. Can you share with me kind of where we're at with that? I thought we've added some, but educate me, man. Tell me about it.
As you guys know, we are on Spotify. We're on Apple. We're on Google. We are on what's Podbean? Podbean?
Yeah, we got Podbean. Podbean is one of them. Yeah.
We're also on. What's that other platform? YouTube, I think. Oh, that's
no way. No way.
Yeah,
we're on YouTube.
Yeah, I think. Yeah, we're on YouTube.
No way.
That's kind of cool. You know, and this is what I'm talking about. Like, this is the transition, the growth. Like,
for sure.
This started off with us recording in the middle of a living room.
Yeah, pretty much. And we would be dressed in random. We would look like we were bums at times, I think. If you recall, the first time I think we ever did our episode, it was like 3 o'clock in the morning, and we were really hungry, eating Doritos.
Hey, I'm not gonna lie, Doritos. In case
actually, no, you know what? You're right. We did start in the living room. I'm thinking of a completely different episode. I'm thinking of when we were with Ashnell. We were with Ashnell when we first launched our first episode, where we were talking about the resolutions.
The resolutions.
Now, can we just take a step back and just appreciate the resolutions we've had with the Best You podcast? I think we've done a pretty good job hopping into this year, you know, going with what's been happening socially, what's been going on culturally, what's been going on a health level. But you've mentioned YouTube. Now, I'm going to be honest with you. I utilize YouTube more so for things like on how to do things, kind of like watching funny videos, like Key and Peele, for example. Those are my guys. I like watching them. But let's bring this to the round table. I know we always talk about the round table, but let's bring this to the table for our family and those that are out there listening. Tell us more about this YouTube channel, man. Tell us about it. I want to know more about it.
So, okay, as far as like the YouTube channel, right? This is okay. So we came up with this wonderful idea. Well, not by ourselves. I got to give props where it's due. My guy Steven. He was part of the roundtable episodes, and first of all, I had a blast just getting the chance to just pick his mind and just to kind of hear like just his alternative viewpoint. And
for sure, it was good. I loved. He threw a question on me that really had to make me think, and that's the beauty about this podcast. You know, as the hosts, we're bringing forth content that's really helping people grow and develop and manage their drive, optimize 24 hours. And Steve pushed us.
Steve, excellent job. But one of the things that he had discussed with us, and I'm pretty sure it was off air. He was just like, hey, have you ever thought about just, posting your videos and it's like, vodcasting it instead. And I said, I mean, like, logistically, I don't know how that would work out. And he just kind of like made us a couple suggestions. He said, hey, if you do X, Y, and Z, you can, post it. And it was an excellent suggestion because, most of the time people are just hearing our voices. And my voice is kind of nasally sometimes. So, like it's not the best type of voice, but now you get to kind of see the individuals behind the voice that you've been listening to for the last 6 months. And thank you. We appreciate you. And we love you.
Yes. Well, Adler, dude, it's been crazy. We're talking about appreciating and we talk about love. We've been talking about a lot of stuff here on this podcast. And I think that, going past our roundtable discussions and now going into season 3, really kind of amping things up. I think one of the things that I feel like we need to really talk about, and we've talked about this off air, we've had our discussions about this, and I think the biggest thing that you and I have really, really grown from is our own personal experiences and our own personal encounters we've had with people. You and I both share the similar experiences of being shy and timid with people because we've come across these encounters where we felt intimidated or maybe we weren't really able to connect with people because we're a little dorky, maybe a little nerdy. Like you've said before on another episode, going to an anime convention, which by the way is my brother is a huge anime fan by the way too. He's a super mega fan when it comes down to that. So you definitely would appreciate my brother for that one. So
I'll meet him one day. And I have absolutely no shame. I repeat, ladies and gentlemen, no shame at the fact that I went to an anime convention, and I plan on going again.
There should never be shame because you have to embrace. We've talked about this too, and you will hear us talk about it. We always talk about embracing who you are as a person. I mean, that's kind of the whole goal here with the podcast. So, today we live in a day and age where this is going to be kind of cliche, but we always have these love-hate relationships with whether it be people, I don't know, our jobs. With me, it comes down to the artwork of our marketing things for Instagram and stuff. So, tell me a time, man, where you felt like, where you had the opportunity to experience, I don't really know how to ask this question. Maybe you can steal from me. What I'm trying to say is like, we've been talking about love and we've just been talking about embracing people. And maybe you have a question ready before I do. Sometimes I have to sit there and think, and I feel like, I get a brain fart. So if you have something, man, steal it away. I need to think.
I kind of want to preface it by like saying we live in a world where there's a lot of ugliness, hate, like that's out there. And the one thing that like you have to be very, very mindful because you can be opposed to hate, but you can never combat hate with more hate.
Right.
The way that you can defeat hate is by producing and giving unconditional love. And those aren't just words. I'm saying that's something I fully, wholeheartedly believe.
So let me ask you, I don't mean to interject, but you say unconditional love. Let me question you on this because I've had this, actually this has been a pushback question that I've gotten before. Unconditional love between people isn't really ideal. And I'm saying this because we as humans set conditions, such as with our first impression. Mm-hmm. We set conditions for people from the moment we meet them, from the moment that we encounter them.
Yeah.
The reason I'm asking you this is you say unconditional love. Would you say that unconditional love is really something you can have between people, or is it more so between you and your mom or dad? Because I'm just trying to figure out, because I know that word unconditional can be very, very, I don't know how to say it. It can be a bit tough to describe love when it comes down to people.
So check this out. When I say unconditional love, first of all, you have to identify that there are different types of love, right? So mm-hmm. the love that your father has for you is not the same exact type of love that he has for his wife, your mom.
Of course.
course. And the same type of love that you have for me, you're my brother, you're my friend.
Correct.
May not necessarily be the same type of love that you have for somebody you just met 5 minutes ago on the street. But yet, there is still love that is that middle ground that you have for just about any person that you meet. And I know this because I watch you interact with people.
Well, let's talk about that. Well, I think that's really what we need to jump into, is talk about that square of love.
Let me just add this to
yes, go for it, man. I wanted to interject because I think that's something that we all forget to tap into. That square of love, that's that in between that no one shines a light on often.
Well, and so here's the thing. I think that we're privy to it because we're healthcare workers. So, we automatically, like, I'm going to care for, one of the things that Advent Health taught me is care for your patients as you would a loved one, which is why Advent Health has those badges where it's like, I'm going to care for you, like, and you put that special someone that you have on your badge, and the badge happens to be in a heart shape. So when I hear something like that, it hits here, because when you peel back, like the reason why a patient's here, a patient can come in for, chest pain and all that stuff, but then you kind of just peer back just to take a look and see, hey, this is a whole person, this is a living being, this is a mother, this is a father, this is a pillar to the community, and hey, this person, like, and I know it, where you get those patients that are difficult and like argumentative, and they combat you and they fight you with every turn.
Well, and I mean, a lot of times that's because they've got a lot going on. I mean, it's like waking up on a Saturday morning and you didn't sleep really well. You got a crook in your neck because your pillow wasn't very comfortable. You didn't sleep well. I mean, anybody who's not going to be doing well or feeling well or not feeling 100% or feeling whole, if you will, that frustration or that want it, just being, I guess, cranky is the best way to say it. Yeah. I didn't mean to cut you off. I just wanted to throw in a comment there, man.
But that's exactly what it is. You have to understand that there are extenuating factors that cause people to act or react a certain way.
Right.
I had a patient once. I won't go into detail why she was in the hospital, but she was very anxious and upset and like, hey, I need to go home. You need to get me out here right now. And I was like, okay, that's fine. I understand where you're coming from. Sweetheart, can you just tell me, explain to me, I understand you want to go home, but is there a specific reason? Because I'm picking up that there's something else going on. And it just so happened that her son got arrested and she needed to get out to bail him out. And that's the reason why she was in a rush. And she's acting, and, to be honest with you, quite frank with you, she's being a jerk to me. But it's not necessarily that she is being a jerk to me. It's because, what she's dealing with in her personal life. And I think that we, as just a people, we do an injustice, a disservice to each other. Right now, I love the fact that we have a social justice campaign that's it's sweeping the whole entire country. However, the same way that there's people on the far left and the far right, I think that some people go overboard with it. I don't think that every person that has ever said something wrong should be fired or cost them their job. I don't believe that, you should, I just don't, you got to understand that we are all human beings. We make mistakes, and you cannot be penalized for a mistake. Mistakes are made so that way you can grow from them. They're not made to be constantly penalized or to constantly be punished for,
Right. No, and I think that, the fact that you say that, we're on this podcast and we're growing as ourselves individually. And just to tie this back in together, I know a lot of people probably are wondering, we're talking why we brought these things into conversation, but it's important to know that unfortunately in the world we live in, we're imperfect, and that's just that. Yeah. But when we talk about, love, and we talk about what we're doing with this podcast, what we're doing with the vodcast, with everything that we've been doing as individuals, every aspect of our life is surrounded around the constant impact that we can make on people. Now, obviously we don't want to sit here and drain people's minds and bodies by just talking about impact. We just want to do it because that's what it is. And one of my favorite things to always talk about is love is more of an action. Love is an adjective, not really necessarily what you just say. And yes, we do say I love you to people, but like you said earlier before, that middle ground of love that we have naturally as humans, because we are human.
And even if you don't want to use the word love is too touchy for you, right? There's just like this, I guess this feeling, this sense of just looking out for your fellow man. I think
Correct.
That's a moral obligation that every single one of us have.
Yes. No, and you're right. And that's where that square, that in between, the love that you have from your father and the love that you have for a friend, there's that middle ground, that square that is obligated. It's a place for us all to kind of stand in once in a while, or really just to tap into, and ultimately share what we have for people. Now, one thing that I've always noticed, and one of the things that I like to bring forth in our conversations is the fact that we are two guys who have come from two walks of life that have given us the opportunity to embrace people. I'm going to share just a quick little thing with you. I didn't really know what love was. I didn't know how to love. I didn't know what it was like to be loved. I didn't want to be loved. I could care less, to be honest with you. And I share this with you, Adler, because, now looking back on time and looking back on where I was just even 10 years ago. I mean, that's about half my life ago, but we'll just say 5 years ago. I was 17. I was just, finishing up with high school slowly. And I really was just very self-centered in a way that I wasn't ready, as my dad would say. Sometimes you have to learn a lesson more than one time. You can tell a kid that the stove is hot. And sometimes they want to know how hot is. And they repeatedly do it just to see. And eventually you either learn the hard way or the easy way. And So the thing is, like, at the end of the day, we're sitting here and we realize that, things are, with everything we're doing, love is the concentrated focus that we have for this season. I don't know about you, man. I feel like, we've been doing so much with the last two seasons, and with so much growth and so much, this is our love for people. I mean, I think you and I both can agree. It's what we're passionate about. And I think that's what love comes in so many different shapes and forms. And passion is one of them. It's one of the things that we enjoy doing, whether it is 3 o'clock in the morning, or we're super hungry, or we're super tired, coming off a 3-day work shift, of 12-hour shifts. Like, we are doing what we can do to help people develop the mindset to succeed, to manage the drive, to grow, and to ultimately develop habits.
Yeah,
and be the best version.
Exactly.
Themselves.
And and you kind of touched on it. Like, I think that starting this off, this was something that we did because it's not every person that's meant to have a podcast. And as far as us, I don't I don't think that we're any better than anyone or anything like that. But I do think that you approach it kind of the same way as I do. It's a moral obligation. It's a lot of times, like, if I'm at work, or if I'm at the gym, or if I'm at the store, people be like, why are you so happy? And then so I'm happy because I'm lucky, man. I'm blessed. I have this opportunity. I'm sucking in oxygen through my lungs, and I'm not doing it with other forms of breathing, or I'm capable of walking. I have a car. I have a home. I have these things. I have so many things that I'm so thankful for. And when I look at it from where I was at 2011 to now, it's like a whole different situation.
2011.
Exactly.
In 2011, I want to say I was in 7th grade.
I don't want to hear this. Get out of here.
Hey, as a matter of fact, this is fun fact. Real quick fun fact. You know, listen, in 7th grade, I actually will say that was probably one of my best years. It was a turning point for a lot of reasons. It was an eye-opener for me. It was just enough for me to get back on track later down the track. However, 7th grade is where all my grades went up, and I just kind of had a better understanding of some things. However, I still needed to experience some of the life events that took place. But, you know, I think that
2011 was a big year for me as well.
Yeah, see, and this is what I'm talking about, man. We're doing a podcast. We are sitting here and we're taking the time out of our day, and we've mastered, and I'm talking about mastered, this whole video, kind of talking about things and kind of getting the dialogue out there, because I think at the end of the day, I remember it took us hours to figure this stuff out, you know, and struggle. Hey, beautiful struggle. But dude, love. This is what the season's about. I think today kind of was just I don't really know. It was a little bit, you know, more of an introduction to what we as people, what we as producers and hosts of a podcast, or a vodcast, I should say, what our approach on love is, and what our approach is on just accepting people. Because at the end of the day, I think we see that and we want that. And we don't want that for ourselves alone. We want that for other people, which is why we go back to tying this all back together. This is not just the best you. You know, that is an individual statement. And I think we all, in season 1 and 2, we approached it from a individual, groundbreaking approach. Now that we've got, you know, people listening to us and tuning in and giving us feedback and being engaged in investing into our what we're doing, our journey. It's not just you and I anymore. It's a nation of people that are wanting to be a part of something that's going to, you know, like you said, leave an impact for the generation to come. So I'm excited, man. I'm excited the fact that we have a YouTube channel. I'm excited the fact that we have.
Time out. What's the YouTube channel's name?
It is called The Best You Nation. If you literally go to YouTube right now and you just type in The Best You Nation, you should see a little square that says TBYN. TBYN.
Follow the boys, like and subscribe. Okay, I'm telling you.
Correct. Subscribe to it. It's gonna be super cool because we're gonna have the video and the audio, which is another cool thing. Just real quick for all of our Spotify listeners, Adler and I went ahead, and Adler, we've made this a change, and we've decided that this was the best approach. That we were not only going to post the video, the vodcast part of it, but we were also we decided on that we were going to do what, Adler? What did we decide on? He's like, I don't even know. You put me on the spot, bro. That's
just a lot of things that we decided. So I'm just trying to figure out, like, which one are you referencing to?
For our Spotify listeners, you know, we were not able to put video on yet because Spotify currently does not support video podcasting. So what have we done? Share with all of our listeners. What have we done?
Basically, Spotify is now a platform that we've been using, but since we tried to do this podcasting, it's been kind of difficult to transfer over back onto Spotify. So we haven't been able to do the last 2 episodes of season 3 on there. But now we're making some changes, making some adjustments, and now the audio version will be available on Spotify, as well as you can have the video of us see our faces. And
hey, this is exciting, man. And the fact that we get to do this, man, you know, it's cool because, you know, we don't want you to be driving down the road and watching us at the same time. I know you guys want to see our beautiful faces and check out our really crazy, awesome looking hairdos these days because, yes, I have been challenged. I guess I will just go ahead and announce this because it's going to be different every single time we get on here.
It's true.
I was challenged by one of my boys, John, who lives in Tennessee. Huge impact of my life. I think you may have talked to him a couple of times on the phone when he worked in MRI at Popka.
Yep.
So crazy thing is he challenged me. You and Brianna both also, including John, all doubt me a little bit, just a wee bit. And that's okay. You guys are my best friends, so you guys are allowed to.
Anyway.
But it's a positive doubt. Believe me, I bent the curve here a little bit.
Guys, Finn is going to grow out his hair.
Yeah,
I don't buy it one bit. He's not going to be able to last. It's a journey, man.
No, hey, don't listen to Adler. Don't listen to that guy.
It's a journey, bro.
6 months. So January 7th is my last day of all this hair growing situation. So
2 years.
What? Oh, 2 years.
This is 2 years.
Listen, man. Hey, you cut your own hair. I give you props for that. I'm over here struggling. But anyways, guys, Adler, dude, listen, man. I'm excited. Let us begin what we've been, I guess, waiting for. It's about to sound like we were playing the Hunger Games. Let the games begin. But let this podcast, this vodcast, be of powerful impact to those around us. And, you know, I'm excited. I don't know about you, but with the YouTube channel, with Spotify being up and running again with our audio, and
bro, I'm beyond excited. Like this is gonna be it's gonna be something amazing, and
for sure.
Not only is it something amazing that we're doing, we're also impacting the people that you know, the people around us. Like I think that, you know, we, mankind, each person has a certain level of vibrations or a vibe that you let off into the world, right?
Absolutely.
And, you know, the biggest thing in Finn, I see you do it all the time. Like when you're at work, you know that Finn's there because he brings a certain level of energy, a certain level of like positivity to his workflow and the people he works with. And that's the same thing I aim to do every single place that I work. I'm a travel nurse. So one of the best feelings in the world is to integrate myself. Like there's a pre-existing culture. You integrate yourself and then you like ooze out that vibration. And everybody's like, man, I really like ooze. I know. That's the best word. But like I use the word ooze because no matter what you do, you cannot escape it. The culture is going you can't escape it. You're going to feel some level of positivity. Even if you don't want to verbalize it, even if you're having a crummy day, you'll be like, hey, you know what? It was kind of crummy, but we had some good people here.
That's all we can do. And that's hopefully what we're able to, that's what we're doing here. That is what we're doing here.
The aim and the goal is to send our love through the podcast, through
the platforms,
and that you can feel it, and then you can extend it to your neighbor. You know?
That's right, because we are wanting this to reach not only our nation, but nations.
Yes.
So, anyways,
where
Adler,
can they follow us at?
What?
Where can they follow us on? Like
the Best You Nation on Instagram.
That's okay. And then
also subscribe. Literally, guys, if you subscribe to the YouTube channel, you're going to get an update every single week. If you are an Apple listener, stay an Apple listener. If you are a Spotify listener, stay a Spotify listener. Listen, you have a large amount, and what is the word called? I can't even think of the word. You have no, that's not the word either. I'm losing the words out of my mouth today, but a plethora of amount of platforms to view this podcast. So, with that being said,
we love you.
Love you guys.
Have a wonderful day.
And have a wonderful day.
Yes, and you send the love that we send to you to somebody else.
That's right. Take care, guys.
Take care.